Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of making a wool on wood animatronic. As you can see, we have the arm working on a little test platform here. This is my prototype arm, which will need a full disassembly so I can properly work on the LED lights and lengthening the tubing for the breathing action, but it's still out here serving its purpose. So let's go ahead and start where we left off with the assembly of the arm. With all the parts together, we just place a jacket around those 3D printed discs and cabling to shield it from the wool as well as the wool from those components. That jacket, which is just a bed sheet that's stapled together, is then covered with some pre-felted wool, and then there's a tie-off at the top that holds it all in place. That tie-off is covered with some more pre-felted wool running in the opposite direction of the pre-felted wool heading down the arm, just to give it a little bit more of a jointed feel when it's connected to the whole of the sculpture. And then the whole thing is needle felted in place just to make sure that it's all secure. For the electronics, I soldered the boards, which I bought, which were just a cheap pulse width modulator or a PWM and a human presence radar. I had underestimated the strength of the servo needed for lifting the arm, so I'll be upgrading to 45 kilogram servos and officially need more voltage than my PWM can provide, so it's made its way out, and I probably won't get another unless it's useful for the LED lights, which it might be since the brightness is controlled by rapidly switching them on and off at rates that's faster than our eyes can perceive, and I might need a bunch of them, so those work really well on a PWM, but again, I would need one that's a higher voltage because my LEDs are 12 volt. Either way, I think it's pretty neat. I had tested each part independently and then hooked them all up with just a little bit of code. And all it does is move the servos when a presence is detected, and it makes sure that it goes through the full movement before checking the presence again. In the long term, this needs some more work just to add a rest cycle for when there's a long period of no one in the exhibition space. And I need a more robust method for detection durations, since the sensor is not always going to be accurate, and when it's in the sculpture, it's likely going to have some blind spots. This is all of that working on the test mount, and here it is with some LED lights just sort of added in to get an idea of the effect that it's going to generate. I want the final install to be much darker than this hallway, and obviously there won't be light bleeding out from the excess LED length, but you can get the idea. Right, so that's it for this video. It's a bit short, but it covers all the updates to the arms. Next step is finishing up the interior frame, hooking up the bellows, and then covering the whole wood assembly process, which is a bit of a monster of a job. And after that, I can talk about the fabric assembly, which is time consuming but fairly easy to go over. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.